Around the world, hundreds of thousands of people with mental health conditions are shackled, chained or confined in small spaces, sometimes for years at a time.
Across Kenya, a terrible secret. They live in darkened rooms, locked up, forgotten.
This is a story of a man in Kericho County who has been locked in a house for, get this, 17 years.
Acts that suggest a nation that is going through a tough time.
And now brings us the story. 35-year-old Lea Cheruto has been chained in this room for over a year now.
Chains. The physical representation of the shackles that mentally ill individuals find themselves in. They are used under the pretext of being the only way to control individuals with mental illnesses. My name is Sharon OBARA, Miss World Kenya 2021 and a psychology graduate, and I have been on a journey of destigmatizing mental illnesses in my country. Studies show that 1 in every 5 individuals is suffering from a mental illness. Over the years, the conversation in Kenya is morphing from whispers and into the public, but not in a significantly progressive manner because of the stigmatization that comes with it. Despite having a Mental Health Act in Kenya and a developing healthcare system that seeks to deliberately focus on mental wellness, a lot of individuals are still suffering in silence because of the stigmatizations that comes with mental wellness. This keeps them from accessing the mental health care that they desperately need.
So mental health stigma is just a combination of the two. Being discriminated against because of a mental illness that you're battling. We see people who sometimes go through psychosis like demonic. They have demonic possessions. This might be just somebody going through psychosis, but we stigmatize them according to our virtues and our beliefs. In Kenya, and our Kenyan culture, we call people wendawazimu. Insanity. What is insanity? We call anyone who passes by and doesn't do things our way wendawazimu. This all adds up to stigmatization because these people don't feel like they're working in a comfortable environment.
The story of Lea Cheruto in a remote village in Nandi County in Kenya, who was chained and locked away for over a year before the intervention of well-wishers and the Moi Referral Hospital, is a representation of the effects of the growing stigma around mental illnesses and the misinformation that exists within our society. It not only leads to the violation of human rights, but denies the victims an opportunity to professional help, all while exposing them to the risk of developing even more mental illnesses.
We've seen instances where people have been chained and caged and ostracized in the name of mental health care, but that's a very unfortunate example of what mental health care really is, and they play into people's weaknesses and they make people fear coming into institutions because for fear of course, being treated like a literal animal. And that's very wrong on so many levels. One of the ways that we can end stigmatization is opening the conversation on mental health. Using our social media platforms like the way Sharon OBARA is doing to end the stigmatization against mental health. She's Miss World Kenya and she reaches a large number of people, and she uses her platform to sort of start this conversation and normalize people taking care of their mental health, and that's why we have her as part of our team.
My journey in the psychological field started early in life back in primary school, where I had a friend and a classmate who suffered from epilepsy. Her work towards recovery was geared by the love and support that she received from all around her, including our very compassionate class teacher. While I now realize that these gestures were fundamental in her journey towards recovery, I was still too young to understand what was happening around me back then. It is so unfortunate that there is a lot of misinformation widespread in my country about how to care for individuals living with mental illnesses and neurological and cognitive disorders.
Let's all try to be human.
I started working with children living with neurological and cognitive disorders 2 years ago. This is why I stepped forward to contest for Miss World Kenya, which is a platform that is all about change and gives extensive reach to impact positive change in the society and destigmatize access to mental health care in my country. Since being crowned, I have rallied support amongst Kenyans and brought in partners in government and the private sector to help normalize conversations around mental wellness. In my professional undertaking, I have taken up mentorship and activities at Chiromo Hospital Group, a one-of-a-kind mental health care facility that provides dignified care to the mentally unwell in Kenya. This has been remarkably eye-opening and has provided me with enough insight to expand my activities, campaigns, and reach as an advocate for destigmatizing mental health. The government, through the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender, Honorable Rachel Shebesh, who also happens to suffer from bipolar disorder, have strongly come in to support my advocacy journey in destigmatizing mental health and wellness in Kenya.
The theme for this year that Miss World Kenya will carry and take to the global stage is on mental health.
It takes concerted efforts and a willingness to walk the journey of being compassionate towards one another. While 1 in every 5 people suffer from mental illness, my advocacy and appeal majorly targets the 4 out of every 5 that need to understand how to be there for the one who needs our love and proper medical care. This has started to become a reality and can be seen in acts of Kenyans, such as Wanja, a lady who stepped in for her childhood friend Patrick, who was a victim of depression and eventually got into destructive use of drugs.
It's all about love. If I didn't show him love, he wouldn't have agreed to go to rehab. Because we would come and we would eat from the same plate so that he doesn't feel like a reject, yeah?
It has been my mission to rally my fellow countrymen and the world at large to play an active role in normalizing the conversations around mental health to ensure that we work towards a world where we all experience mental wellness in abundance. Going forward, I would like us to normalize the conversation surrounding mental health. The change starts with each and every one of us standing together to fight the stigma that surrounds mental health.